So I wanted to try to do something different for my channel. I happen to have two brothers that are both around my age that are similarly into things like nerd stuff, movies, comics, Dungeons and Dragons, etc. So I wanted to get them together and do some kind of video chat where we ripped on movies. So just for shits, we were going to get together on Friday night and watch Beastmaster, a movie that all of us have seen, hundreds of times. It was one of the seminal movies when we were growing up that we had on Betamax that we just watch over and over and over again. Of course, being that it was our first attempt at doing anything like that, there was like an hour and a half's worth of technical difficulties just to kind of try out the idea, see if it works. We didn't actually get into Beastmaster very much, and this is, like I said, first attempt. So you'll notice the audio, especially from the other two guys, is kind of raw and crappy. So please forgive that. If you do listen to this further, thanks for putting up with it. What happened was, as we were fiddling around with the technology, I just would throw out a couple of questions about random news events happening in the sci-fi world. I got them talking about it. Like I said, please forgive the audio, but I'm going to go ahead and play clips of that, and I'll let you guys decide whether, assuming that we do improve our technical know-how, improve their fucking microphones because they really suck, and improve a few other things, leave a comment. We'll see how we do. I mean, ideally, we'd be watching crappy-ass movies and ripping on them or things like that. Possibly talking about ongoing news situations. All right, here it is, and enjoy.
Okay, we've got to come up with a team name that goes on the bullet board.
Well, I was thinking about, BroChat.
that sounds really, really gay.
BroChat?
Well, we're brothers, and we're chatting, so BroChat.
Yeah, but it sounds like a gay sex chat line.
All right, what about
oh my God, it does.
What about bros on movies?
What about BBC chat?
We get sued.
Do you mean like the porn BBC?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Beastmaster. I think if you watch Beastmaster 2, you actually learn the Eagle's name.
There's a 2?
There's a 3, dude.
There's a 3?
Yeah.
Oh,
You never watched this shit? Come on.
All right, so that's got to be on the list, is Beastmaster 2. It's like beyond the dimension where the Beastmaster and his animal friends all make it into the modern times.
Yeah.
And they link up with Kari Wurr, and the bad guy is Wings Hauser, the dad of actor Cole Hauser.
Wings Hauser, yes.
I want to call you a fucking liar, but nobody could make that up.
It's called Beastmaster 2, The Eye of Abraxas. I don't know why that's stuck in my head. I just know that.
Okay, that sounds like an STD, number 1. Number 2, what?
How do you not know this? Anyway, that's going on the list. That's something. In fact, that might make a neat little package as one movie.
The Eye of Abraxas sounds like something you take penicillin for.
It does. It sounds like his beehole. Thoughts on Witcher season 1? Rob, you saw it, right?
Yes, I almost gave up on it.
Because you did not read the books and it seemed like it was a little all over the place? Was the messed up chronology a problem?
What made me almost give up on it was episode 1. Okay. What the fuck was happening in episode 1? I mean,
that's really early to give up on it, man.
Well, yeah, but see, I didn't really have a whole lot of hope for it in the first place. I just maybe I'll check this out. Episode 1, I figured out after I watched the show that should have been inserted as episode 6 or something, because episode 2 was clearly designed to be episode 1. Episode 1 was just that big weird siege and attack on the Capitol and all that shit, and all the tragic deaths of these characters that I just didn't even know the names of, and it was tedious and weird and confusing.
Did you watch the whole season?
I watched the whole season eventually.
Did you see how it came full circle?
Yes, which is exactly why that should have been stuck back at episode 6 or something, because episode 2 is where you get your characters introduced. You start to get to know people. That should have been episode 1.
Here's the thing that I think about it is, more so than most any other show I've ever seen, they don't do exposition. They're like, fuck you, figure it out your own damn self.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
And they even did that with they had 3 different decades apart time things going on in the same episode continuously, again and again.
Yeah, and I did not mind that at all. I was able to figure it out and keep up with it after the second episode. The first episode was just a jumbled mess. I
Okay,
didn't know what the fuck was going on.
that's what I'm wondering. I mean, in preparation for it coming out, I actually read The Witcher, so I kind of knew a
Okay.
little. I mean, the books are as bad. The books you have to figure out the order to read them in, sort of, kind of, because they were written initially as short stories and then novellas, and then he actually wrote some books. And yeah, he's a little all over the place as well. But I thought it was just so good the way they did that, because it all came full circle and it was kind of cool.
Well, yeah, but speaking as somebody who did not read the books and was not familiar with the whole backstories of everything, the first episode was incredibly off-putting.
Okay.
And I gave up on it for like a month. I was just like, no, fuck this show. This is stupid. I'm not watching this crap. And it wasn't until like I happened across Andrew watching the rest of the series, and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then I went back to picked up with the second episode, which felt like a first episode, and continued watching it. And
I think here's
the first
secret.
episode. I've never seen a worse first episode. Maybe it's great for somebody who's read the books or something, but it was just a mess. I mean, all these tragic deaths they lingered on the tragedy of, and I don't know these people.
I think the secret is no matter what episode you started watching, that could have been the first episode.
Yeah, could have been. I don't know.
It's a big circle.
I'm sure. Yeah, it is. It is. You know, I as I said, I'm an early Game of Thrones fan, so I don't need to be handheld through a script. But give me something, man.
A little something to hang on to.
I don't want to spend like a full 5 minutes of the show on the tragedy of this queen killing herself because her castle's going to be invaded. Who are these people invading? Who is she queen of? Why, do we know her? What's her first fucking name? We don't know any of this shit. I don't know this character.
Now, what if you knew from the start that all
It
those
was just
questions
tedious.
would eventually?
Yeah, if I knew it from the start, if I had read the books and stuff, yeah, maybe it would have been a lot better. But going in cold, it was a lot of shit. I very much felt the fact that there was a whole lot of lore that I just wasn't privy to.
All right, so here's what it is. Disney Plus is talking about doing a Firefly reboot. Does that sound? What does that? That's okay. That's what I was hoping to hear. I was hoping to hear a big, labored sigh. And because of Me Too and Joss Whedon, apparently he will not be involved in any way, shape, or form. There's not very much information, so we don't know if it's going to be a continuation, if it's going to be early Mal, if it's going to be set in the same universe or solar system or whatever the hell they were actually in. What do you think?
I think, it's Disney Plus it's coming on?
Yes, Disney Plus, the mouse.
Okay. Well, first of all, 90% of what made Firefly good was the cast chemistry. You can't just make that happen.
Yes.
You can cross your fingers and hope, but I'm glad it's not coming to Netflix because they would, force half the cast to become gay. If any company has been associated with making like tepid reboots of vastly superior originals, it's Disney lately.
Well, I mean, imagine, Joss Whedon,
Like,
without him in Firefly, it ain't gonna be Firefly, because a lot of what made the chemistry, a lot of what made the characters was him. It was him doing what he did. He was responsible for Buffy being awesome. He was responsible for Angel being awesome. Without him there, even if they try to duplicate what he can do, they're gonna be fucking it up.
But you know what they will have is a shitload of pointless cameos. So everybody
Probably.
who watched it before can go, woo!
And in my head, I see some dude sitting at a desk who's like a Hollywood executive, and some guy's got like, I got this great new script here. It's based on, we're gonna reboot Firefly. And as soon as he gets it, before he opens up, he's like, all right, who's black, who's gay? That's like his first thing. Like, who can we make black? Who can we make gay?
Well, if it was Netflix, I'd be certain of that. Disney, it's just probable.
All right. If you could be anyone at all ever that was in any of the Stargate episodes, it would be Lou Di-Fi, right?
Okay.
Is this movie exclusive?
No, the shows and movies. Lou Di-Fi was in Stargate Universe.
Lou Di-Fi is amazing, but
most people are going to say like Jason Momoa, but I call bullshit and say Lou Di-Fi would be the proper way to go.
I think I'd rather be Jason Momoa in Baywatch Hawaii.
I was going to say James Spader, but whatever.
New conversation. Wheel of Time. What you think?
Oh, God.
I'm very disappointed in Matt.
But don't worry, you'll never see him again.
Matt's the one guy I do like.
No way, dude. He's not Matt.
Yeah, but they took an original take on him. He's kind of a scumbag. He's interesting.
Do you know the news, Rob?
What's the news?
Well, are you up to date as far as watching? Did you watch this week's, or I guess even
Yes,
last week's episode?
I watched up to 6. I don't know if there's any.
Yeah,
past
I
that.
think that's as far as we're at
That's
right
the
now.
season, yeah.
Okay,
But you know how they're like going through the way gate, and they're like, wait, Matt's just standing in the field looking at us. Okay, I think they actually had to like splice or cut that together because they'd already kicked them off the set by then. You know that
Did he
character?
get Me Too'd?
He got something. I don't even know if I ever heard the real story. I didn't really go digging for it, but the actor's name is Barney something, Barney Frank, Barney. I don't know, but they're gonna replace him. And throughout,
He got Me Too'd.
yeah, evidently something like that. I don't know if anybody was ever really explicit about what happened, but so if you do like him, that's kind of sad. They're gonna replace him. Hopefully, they do it kind of deftly. If you don't like him, Michael, you don't have to worry. They're gonna replace him.
I
Although,
do not like him.
be warned, whoever they replace him with might be shitty.
They made it into such a boring fucking slog. They took one of the most like crisply written, exciting books that I've read in a while and just took all the slow parts and focused, intently on them. The episodes were such a slog. There was like a 10-minute bit at the end of every episode that kind of salvaged things. So like, oh shit, okay, plot's happening. But other than that, it was, why do we got to spend so much time on this one fucking warder trying to kill himself? Fuck you, move the story along.
Okay, I do have several complaints about Lan as well. Lan Mandragoran, who's Moraine's warder.
Yeah.
I have several complaints about that. I don't remember the books exactly, but I remember that dude was not Asian.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice in the
It's
latest
Netflix.
episode,
They have to diversify.
they made all the Borderlanders Asian. If you look in the latest episode, all the Borderlanders are actually, like, you see a bunch of people wearing that same whatever Land's thing on his head is, that
Yeah, the strand, yeah.
Hidori or whatever, Hatari, or no, that was a John Wayne movie or whatever. But yeah, they made them all Asian. So basically, everybody along the Borderlands is going to be Asian. They made Min, who is a Borderlander, an Asian.
But like even the Two Rivers is like a small town in the middle of like bumfuck nowhere, and like all of them have such rich diversity. Have you ever been to a small town in the middle of nowhere? All those bitches look alike. All of them look alike.
All right, that does it for today's video. If you stuck around to the end, I'm really appreciative. Like I said, this was kind of raw, definitely very much an experimental thing. If I do decide to do more BroChat or whatever awesome bro name we come up with for these segments in the future, if I do more of these, I'll make sure that it sounds a lot more cleaner, clearer, technically competent. Like I said, this was very experimental. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a good day.